Welcome to this episode of Now That's Good Chemistry, a podcast devoted to exploring chemicals in our lives. I'm your host, Susan Savage. We are broadcasting from our studio on the campus of Indian Hill High School, located in Cincinnati, Ohio. Joining us today is Dr. Michael Dourson from TERA, Toxicology Excellence and Risk Assessment, and two Indian Hill AP Chemistry students, Milana Barrett and Samantha Rosakis. Milana and Samantha are here to ask Dr. Dourson a question generated by the AP Chemistry students about a substance that is regularly consumed by a large percentage of the world population, caffeine. Welcome, everyone. Samantha, will you get us started?
Of course. Mr. Dourson, what is caffeine and what is its chemical formula?
Well, caffeine is a chemical that's found in many different kinds of plants, and it's a psychoactive chemical, fairly simple chemical structure, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen.
And where would you find caffeine?
Well, caffeine, again, is found in many different plants. I mean, of course, we have coffee trees, coffee beans, you get it there. But you also get caffeine in a number of, as many as probably 60 different or more plants. It's found in chocolate in small amounts. And again, it's a very useful chemical probably to the plants that produce it. I'm not quite sure what it does there, but in us it has, again, some advantages and some disadvantages.
Can you share with us the chemical formula of caffeine, Dr. Dourson?
Well, the chemical formula is C, H, N and O. I think specifically it's C8, hydrogen H10, N4, and O2. Again, 8 carbon atoms, 10 hydrogen atoms, 4 nitrogen atoms, and 2 oxygen atoms.
So we would classify that as an organic substance?
Oh yeah, very much organic because it has, carbon.
How does caffeine impact the human body?
It impacts the human body in a number of ways. It's psychoactive, so it's used by many people, including myself. Sort of to wake up in the morning. You wake up and maybe drink a cup of coffee. It makes you a little bit more alert, and after a while, you could do more things, perhaps a little bit sharper mentally. Some people say, I drink coffee all day long. Well, that's probably not recommended, but certainly 1 or 2 cups a day is fine.
So if you were to drink too much coffee, what negative health effects would it have?
Well, the first thing is irritability. So if you drink too much coffee, that stimulation that you get from coffee, it becomes a little bit too much, and so you become hyperactive. Some people drink too much coffee and they get nausea. They don't feel good. There's other health effects, however. You can get heart palpitations. Now, of course, we all get heart palpitations on occasion, but if you drink too much caffeine, you overstimulate your body, and that's part of the difficulty, heart palpitations.
Are there any positive health effects of caffeine on your body?
Well, in addition to the idea of the stimulation, which a lot of people like, especially early in the morning, there is some medical evidence. One thing caffeine is used is to prevent migraine headaches. So there are some advantages to, medically from the caffeine. You get habituated to it, you depend on it, and you can have withdrawal symptoms, but it's not really addictive like some other drugs are.
Do you think there's a certain age that you shouldn't drink coffee and it could get more addictive? Because we know a lot of teenagers that drink a lot of coffee and caffeine.
If you want to take coffee, 1 or 2 cups a day when you're younger should be fine. Some people, however, maybe can't even take that much. So that you have to, everybody is different, wonderfully different, right? And so you should, if you want to try caffeine, a cup of coffee, try it. Try 1. Certainly don't do 6. That would not be recommended by most people.
So we're talking about dose.
Oh, absolutely. Dose makes the poison. So again, a cup of coffee, 5 or 6 ounces of coffee, half a liter, that's, 500 half a liter is 500 grams, right? A cup of coffee has about 100 to 200 milligrams. So 0.1 or 0.2 grams. Big difference, right? So if you drink 6 cups, you're now at a half a gram, maybe even over a gram of coffee. That's a little bit too much for your system, especially if you do it within the first hour. They say maybe 8 hours or so ahead of time. That's a good rule of thumb. If you want to do that, 8 hours ahead of time, don't take tea or coffee. And if you want to experiment, drink a cup of coffee at 9 o'clock and see if you stay up all night long. I wouldn't recommend it, but don't do that before a test. You might not get a good night's sleep.
So we're thinking it is individual. Some people can handle a cup of coffee at 9 o'clock in the evening and the caffeine has no impact on them, but others it does.
I think it does, and I would say for people that have been habituated to drinking coffee all day long, taking a cup at night probably doesn't affect them. But if someone's not drunk coffee before, I guarantee if you drink it at 9 o'clock at night, you're going to have a hard time getting to sleep.
So would you say you build up a tolerance to the caffeine?
Yeah, you build up a tolerance to the caffeine, which is why some people, they say, well, I used to drink a cup of coffee and get me going, and now I need 2 cups in the morning. Well, why is that? Well, your body handles it. That chemical comes into your body, and one of the things that your liver does, your liver's an amazing organ. It does lots of different things. But one of the things it does is it looks at chemicals coming in that don't really belong there, like caffeine, and it metabolizes it, clears it out of the system. It works with the kidneys to clear it out of the system. Well, you keep drinking that same coffee cup every day and get the caffeine every day. What does your liver do? It says, well, I'm going to get smart. I'm going to increase the ability to get rid of this chemical because I see it every day. So now you need 2 cups of coffee.
So the body becomes more efficient.
Oh, the body is wonderful. It becomes more efficient.
Well, thank you, Milana and Samantha, for those thoughtful questions. Thank you, Dr. Dourson, for your valuable information. To recap, caffeine increases the activity of your brain and your nervous system. Chocolate, much to my dismay, has caffeine. Caffeine is used in the morning to wake you up, has some positive effects for the treatment of migraines, but negative effects, taking in too much, can make you irritable. Can you become addicted to caffeine? Dr. Dourson says it's habit forming and you become dependent upon it, but it is not addictive. Now, That's Good Chemistry is a collaboration between the students and faculty at Indian Hill High School in partnership with TERA, Toxicology Excellence for Risk Assessment. Our technical supervisor is Indian Hill Television Network executive producer Denny Dubs. Our script supervisor and editor is English teacher Tom Millard. Our graphic designers are students Liz George and Ryan Kennebeck. Our theme music was composed by student Preston Marks. Thanks to the faculty, staff, and administration at Indian Hill for their behind-the-scenes efforts and support. Until next time, I'm your host, Susan Savage.